and what are the use of those testing, right? So which include portability testing, then we do have confirmation regression testing, compatibility testing, system testing, integration testing. So I hope that you people are able to understand that what are the different type of testing and why those testing are required in the software, uh, basically in the software testing career or software testing cycle, right? So now today what we'll be discussing with this our modules is also completed, which was our third module. And now we'll jump into the fourth module, wherein we'll learn different test techniques. Okay, so first is static techniques. What is static techniques? So earlier we discussed about the static, right? Static and dynamic testing, we learned about that. So what is static wherein we plan, execute and write about the test cases, how we are going to execute those test cases, correct? So in the static one we'll be discussing about, there are some subtopics which are test design and technique, tree structure of static testing technique. Review process means, what is review process? Planning, kickoff, preparation and review meeting, rework and follow up, roles and responsibilities of a reviewer. There are moderator, there are authors and scribers, the reviewer and manager, and types of review, walkthrough, technical review, inspection. So we'll try that to best to finish this module. So I want you guys to pay attention very closely without missing anything. So first let's discuss about the test design techniques. So what are test design techniques? So guys, design to initialize test planning, it means what? Say for an example, whenever I have a requirement and I will be planning my test cases, I will be designing my test cases to test that particular software. So this is come under the techniques and the initialization process of it, how test cases will be designing. First it is planned, then it is designed, and then it is executed. So two categories are what? Static and dynamic testing. We already discussed about that. Now what is there in the static testing? So it includes review process, technical review. A technical person will review that. Static analysis, data flow structure. I mean, say for an example, whenever we are building a software, there should be a flow for flow of the code, flow of the program, flow of the software. So that needs to be understood. Control flow structure. Okay, so first is tree structure of static testing technique. So what is tree structure? Say for example, this is a static technique. Informal reviews, there are informal reviews, there are walkthrough reviews, technical reviews, inspections. And in static analysis, this is a part of a static techniques. And what is there in the analysis part? Data flow and control flow. Okay, wherein we'll be learn that what is data flow and what is control flow. Review process. What is review? First let's understand. So guys, review is nothing. Review is the thing whenever you design certain test cases and you execute those test cases, so it needs to be reviewed that whatever you have planned, whether whatever method we are following, right? So earlier we just learned about the V model, iteration model, right? So basically, through which the software is being developed, using which module, and as per that we also have to understand as a tester that whatever we are doing, is it the correct approach to test a software. So review process is generally, it is something that once we plan everything, then it will be reviewed by whom? There are multiple personalities, multiple roles and responsibilities included. First is review, verification of the software through static analysis and documentation. Documentation means whatever we have documented in the time of preparing and planning those test cases. It should be scheduled in the project planning. It means if an example 25% of the project is completed, then weekly, monthly it should be scheduled in order to verify that whatever module that we have finished. So for example, a software is very big application. You do have a very big application or a software. So it will take time, right, to test the entire software. So maybe we'll be choosing the individual module first. So for that purpose, it should be scheduled in a project planning. It means how the project is planned, 50%, 25%, 30%, whatever, different project. It depends on the project type, small project, big project, or medium sized project. So it will be scheduled, the review will be scheduled as we write the test cases, as we plan those test cases, it will be reviewed by someone. Now categorized as formal review, it means characterized by a documented procedure and requirements. So for example, technical review or inspection. Now guys, this will be, I think, a little bit hard for you to understand, but take this as an example, that there is a process wherein you need to give examination whatever you have learned in the classes in the years, right? Along with that, there will be a interview as well. In the job interview, you do have multiple rounds, right? First you do have a written aptitude test, then you have a written test wherein your grammars and communication has been checked, and the last round is the operational round, right? So for review process is also categorized in many segment. So what is formal review? Formal review is basically whatever we are documenting while planning test cases, along with the procedures, along with the requirements, and along with the analysis, that is known as formal review. What is informal review? Not based on formal documented procedure. Walkthrough means what? Say for example, I am as a manager or I am as a team member visiting to the second person, a junior tester maybe, that okay, whatever you have done, let me go through it. So this is known as walkthrough review, wherein we see it as an example in front of system, that whatever it is. Next is formal review process. It means it includes planning, kickoff, preparation, review meeting, rework, follow up. Now what is this supposed to mean? Planning means what? Initialize with a request for review from author or moderator. Now who is the author? Now author who is going to, in the review process, an author is a person who is going to write and going to reformat this particular, basically authorize that particular test cases or plans that you have written, that you have prepared. This is known as also planning. Or the moderator, that okay, whatever you have done, this should not be the case, this way it should be done. I'm talking about the document, that whatever you have written there. Moderator performs entry criteria, means a moderator who is going to perform this planning review. His criteria is, entry criteria decide whether the document is ready to go for formal review process or not. If document is found to have a very little defects, then it is ready to go for review process. If the document passes the entry check, it means everything is good to go, if cases are been designed perfectly, then the moderator and author decide which part of the document to review. Why? Because if the entry pass of the document is accepted, it is approved, it means that the whatever initialize the first process which comes with requirement, which comes with the initial stages of review, that is already passed. However, the moderator and author will decide that which part of the document is critical and needs to be reviewed. Means what? Goal. Say for an example, to make everyone aware about the documents under review. It means that whenever test cases has gone for a review process, so guys, review process is not done in a small company, that is generally done, so the one person is only there to review those things in a small company, startups. But in big MNCs you will be finding those different roles and responsibilities. So basically what we are doing in the designing, say for example, I am in the test team, okay, so I will be informing everyone, including managers and the upper hierarchy level, seniors, that okay, this particular software is tested and the test planning is under review process, which is documented, and that particular documented is in a review process. So you informing your team member, you can consider, or along with your client sometime as well. So this is the entry point for the project kickoff, that how we are going to initialize, start the project, start the test. Document reviewers receive the short introduction about the objective of the review and document. So say for an example, if I have written that this is the login module and what is our objective, our objective is to come out with designing different test cases, and with different test cases with different design techniques, test design techniques, will be coming out with as much as defect is possible. So this is what, this is the introductory part to the team. Now everybody commits time on reviewing. It means what? Say for an example, if I am a tester who is having a responsibility to check the API, then there will be other tester who will be having the responsibility to do the system testing or integration testing and regression testing. So it means what? It is distributed. Okay, everybody commits time on reviewing. It means there has to be everyone when we are informing about the review process or the document is under review. Then comes preparation and review meeting. It means Participants work individually on the documents and checking according to the procedures, requirement, rules, and checklist. So, say for an example, a client or a particular company has a checklist that this particular software in the testing pit we need to test login module, wherein we need to check OTP, email ID, phone number, and we need to check as well as add to cart button, wherein product will be added to the cart and it will remain there. So this particular module has been assigned to a particular tester. So as per the checklist, that whatever needs to be checked, whatever needs to be tested, according to that will be preparation will be done. Individual defect traces, it means, say for an example, if there is any individual defect in the module, or say for an example, I am testing the API version. Okay, in the API I found some error, so this is also an error, right? A defect. This is known as individual defect traces. Now all issues are recorded using defect logs on login forms. Defect logs are what? Defect logs are kind of a book. These are kind of a sheet wherein we mention that what is the issue, where is the issue, and what needs to be there. So everything will be mentioned on that logbook. So basically we do that using a defect reporting tool. There are n number of defect reporting tools. So we use one of a defect reporting tool wherein we will record that whatever has been executed. Okay. Next is review meeting. It means logging phase. So defect recorded by individual and introduce. Okay. If an individual tester is working on single module, he will introduce his first. Discussion phase, the removal of those defects are discussed, an outcome and recorded for the future reference. It means we tested, we planned the test cases, and we found that there are in the initial stage there are, say for example, 3 defect found. Okay, so those particular defect will be what discussed among the team and including the review team, which includes modder, author, your manager, review manager. Okay, and then it will be recorded for future outcome. So say for an example, if we have certain similar kind of a project in near future and the same issue occurs, then we will have something to review for. Take a idea, take a guess out of it. Decision phase is what? Decision phase is made sometime based on exit criteria. Now what does that exit criteria means? Exit criteria means, say for an example, when a proper review has been done to a particular software. Okay, now wherever we are finding a defect, we will be recording that and will be what will be reporting that particular defect, we'll be discussing that. So basically this is the decision phase wherein we need to discuss when it needs to be finalized that okay, this is the defect and this is the module wherein the defect has been found. Now what needs to be done in order to take a decision? So say for an example, it will go back to the developer, it will be again retested, similar kind of thing. Okay, rework and follow up. Rework means is the number of defect found exceed a certain level, then the document is to be reworked. It means what? Say for an example, uh, there is login module. Okay, in the login module there is 3 steps. First we have to check the mobile number with OTP, second we have to check email ID login, and third one, which is the button. Okay, now in the 3 of the phases we are able to come out with 6 defects in the same module, in the same function. So it is exceeding the minimum defect limit which is existed as per the rule. So what it will be? It will be reworked, means whatever document have been prepared by the tester, it will be again reworked. The document needs to be corrected, the document needs to be rectified from beginning. Every defect don't lead towards rework. Now it depends on the defect as well, whether it is a major defect or a minor defect, and that will decide that whether rework on the documentation will be done or not. So if you don't understand this rework, okay, take this example that you have written an entire answer on your exam sheet, but you get to know that the question that was asked, many time it happened that the question it is asked is it asking, it's completely different from what I have written. Okay, so what we need to do then, we need to rewrite the entire answer. So similar way, we need to rewrite the entire document if there is more than that minimum defect found in a particular software. Author is responsible to does judge the defect that has to be fixed. Author is who? Generally, we do prefer author means who is the writer, who is the owner, who is the creator. Here, author means who is the decision maker that, okay, say for example, a defect has been found. Now, whether this is a genuine defect or it is a mistaken. So say for example, certain time as a tester, we also design wrong test cases, and those wrong test cases will never lead us to a defectless software. So it will show us defect, 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 defect multiple times. But that is not correct. There should not be defect. You are doing something wrong. So that will be decided by whom? That will be decided by the author. Now next is follow up done by the moderator who are just organizer of review process. They will organize. Moderator, what they do, they organize the review process, that what the steps needs to be followed and how many steps it needs to be reviewed. It verifies the review process including all defects. Feedback is taken from the reviewer who is reviewing. Okay. Comments from feedback are stored in a certain centralized repository of feedback documents. Now it can be form as well. Okay, so what will happen, that there will be mentioned that what is the defect, type of defect, and who is reviewed that, and what is the solution or what is the defect that we found, and what is the decision needs to be taken, whether it will be sent back to the developer, whether it will be retested. Okay, so these sort of things. Next is roles and responsibility. It means who are going to take over this review process. So guys, we do have moderator. Now what does the moderator do? Moderator basically is the leader of the review process. He will schedule the meeting, lead decisions, means whatever as per the meeting we discussed will take lead to a decisions, and that will be finalized. Performs entry and exit criteria. Entry is what? When we are entering into the test planning, test execution, and defect phases. Exit criteria, at the end, what decision has been made and what will be the cause of the software. Like, will it be back to the developer? Will it be redeveloped? Will the test document will be reviewed? That is also decided by whom? By the moderator. Who is reviewer? A reviewer is inspector who inspect. Techno-functional, it means he needs to be well equipped with the technical part as well. Domain expert, it means this particular reviewer having a domain expertise of 10 to 15 years. Check material defects. Material defects are what? Material defects are, say for an example, if I have mistakenly integrated something or understood something when it was about the requirement analysis or design analysis, then if we have misunderstood something as a tester, then it needs to be checked at the material wise. Document writer is who maintain documents, defect notifiers, improve quality. He is the author. Author, what will author do? A author will maintain those documents, the review documents, the decision documents. Defect notifiers, it means if there is a defect he will be notifying that, okay, this is the module, this is the defect, and this is the severity of the defect, whether it is high, whether it is low, whether it is moderate. Improves quality. Who is the recorder? Recorder is also called the scriber. Scriber means who will be recording the entire process. First is gone to early stages, then it gone to moderator, from moderator to reviewer, from reviewer to author, and so entire process will be recorded, will be documented. Recorded by whom? Documented, recorded means it's not like camera recording, guys. A recorder or a scriber is someone who will be entering, who will be having the details of the entire process, that what happened, what decision has been made, what are the defect arises. So these are the things. Okay, so roles and responsibilities. Review team consists of 4 types of participants: moderator, author, scribes, and reviewer, as we discussed. So in addition, management also sometimes play a role in the review process. So I hope guys this particular video helps you to understand that what is review process, what, how many types of reviewers are there, who is in the review team, and what is the responsibility of each particular reviewer in a different form, like author, moderator, reviewer, or recorder, right? So next we will be discussing about more, which is regarding moderator. Okay, who is a moderator? And Side by side, we'll be discussing about each individual responsibilities.